Somebody did something to you. Not a catastrophe. Nobody was fired. Nothing went to HR. They took the credit, or they let you walk into a meeting unprepared when one sentence from them would have saved you. Or they said the small clever thing about your work in front of the people whose opinion decides your year. And you're not going to do anything about it, obviously. You're better than that. And anyway, the moment's passed, but you're keeping it. That's the part nobody says out loud. You have a file on this person now. It's not a plan. It's just a file. And it opens by itself. When their name comes up, when they ask you for something, when you see them get a win. Here's what almost everyone does with that file, and why all three ways of holding it cost more than the original injury did. Then I'll tell you about the night the most powerful man in the world sat up until dawn, deciding whether to have someone killed. 3 doors. The first is the clean strike. 1 shot. Something accurate. Something deserved. And you're careful about it, because you're not a fool. A comment in the right meeting. A piece of information that arrives at an unhelpful moment for them. And it is delicious. For roughly an hour. Then you notice you've made yourself a person they now have a file on, and the thing has a second chapter, and the second chapter is not up to you. The second door is the Cold War. You never confront anything. You simply downgrade them, permanently and privately. Slower replies. The minimum cooperation. You stop putting them forward for things. It feels controlled, and it is completely invisible to them, while being entirely visible to everybody else who cannot see the original injury and can only see you being difficult with a colleague for no apparent reason. The third door is the archive, and it's the one careful people choose. You do nothing. You say nothing. You keep it. You tell yourself you've let it go, but you could still recite the exact sentence with the tone 18 months later. That's not letting go. That's storage. And storage isn't free. You pay rent on it every time their name comes up for the rest of your career. Here's the thread. All 3 of them keep the injury alive past the moment it actually happened. The event lasted 4 seconds. You've now been carrying it for 1.5 years, and the person who did it went home that evening and forgot. Seneca wrote an entire book about anger, and the most useful sentence in it is almost an accounting note. How much better to heal than seek revenge from injury? Vengeance wastes a lot of time and exposes you to many more injuries than the first that sparked it. Read that again as a cost, not a moral. He isn't saying revenge is wicked. He's saying it's expensive and that it doesn't close the account. It opens new ones. And then the line that does the real damage. Anger always outlasts the hurt. The injury is over. The anger is still running. Now the story, and it's a genuinely extraordinary one. Augustus, first emperor of Rome, master of the known world, discovered that a man named Cinna, a grandson of Pompey, was plotting to kill him. This was not a suspicion. He had the details. And Seneca describes him sitting up through the night with it, going round and round, unable to settle. He'd done this before, years earlier, on a larger scale, and the killing had never actually ended anything. His wife Livia said something to him that I think about a lot. Try what the doctors try. When the usual remedies fail, use the opposite one. So in the morning, Augustus sent for Cinna. He cleared the room, and then he told Cinna everything he knew, the plan, the place, the timing, the names, so there could be no pretending. And then he let him go. He kept him as a friend. He later made him consul. No one conspired against Augustus again. Understand what that is, because it isn't kindness, and Seneca is not telling the story to show us a nice man. It's the only move on the board that ends the sequence. Every other option, trial, execution, exile, leaves a family, a faction, a grievance, and the whole thing runs on for another decade. Augustus did the one thing that closed it permanently, and it cost him a mourning. 3 moves. Move 1. Act inside the week or let it go for good. If something is worth addressing, address it while it's still a live event. Directly, once. If it isn't worth a conversation this week, it is by definition not worth 18 months of storage. Those are the only 2 options. There is no third one where you keep it, and it doesn't cost you anything. Move 2. If you do act on the record, not the person. The complaint is never "you undermined me." That's a fight about character, and character fights don't resolve. They escalate. It's the specific thing. Once, in plain language, I didn't have the numbers going into that meeting and you had them. Can we fix how that flows next time? You've raised it. It's now real. And you've given them a way to be reasonable rather than an accusation to defend against. Move 3. Audit the file. Sit down and actually name what you're carrying, person by person. Then, for each one question. What would I do about this? Not what should have happened. What would I do? Almost every entry has no answer, and an entry with no action isn't a grievance. It's a tenant. Evict it. Because here's what the file does to you, and it's worse than any of the small revenges you're considering. It makes you unable to receive anything good from that person. They do decent work, and you can't see it. They offer you something, and you inspect it for motive. You have made one colleague permanently expensive to work with, and you did that, not them. So here's the rule. Write it down. Heal it or drop it. Never store it. Tomorrow, 3 things. 1. Name one thing you're currently carrying, out loud, and decide this week. Address it or it's gone. 2. If you address it, describe the event, never the character. 3. The next time you catch yourself enjoying the thought of somebody's setback, notice that the feeling costs you something and buys you nothing. You will not be able to stop people doing things to you. Augustus couldn't, and he ran the world. What you always control is how long it lives afterwards. Master that, and you stop paying rent on other people's bad days. If this helped, like it and subscribe. There's a new one every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And do one more thing. Send this to the person you've heard tell the same story about the same colleague 3 times. You know exactly who they are. They'll say it isn't about them, and then they'll go quiet for a bit. The journal's in the description if you want the weekly version. And watch this one next. Why you can't switch off after work.